The comments about Daniel Jones, the quarterback for the Giants, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, this is a big story, and I know he went down to Instagram and he tried to refute this and he tried to offer some clarity here. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like Baker Mayfield already is kind of past the point of getting the benefit of the doubt. It's it's funny. I think there's a lot of fans out there who will say, "Oh, this is cool," like younger fans. I think the older fans will probably view this a little differently. But it's a cool energy, and he projects, and, hey, this is the new athlete. This is the way it's going to be. Is it egregious? No, it's not egregious. But what he said about Daniel Jones, even if the context was not correct, he still was not correct. It was utterly unnecessary. And, I believe it was very unbecoming of the position of a quarterback in the NFL. I do. And I think that, and I wasn't on board because you got a lot of this early when he grabbed this junk, when he planted the flag at Ohio State, when he rifled the football off the dude's head, whatever team that was, may have been Kansas, I don't know. He had the other incident at Kansas with the kids at midfield. That was actually kind of cute. That wasn't a big deal. Then he weighs in on Duke Johnson's contract. I mean, a lot of little things were creeping up, and I basically refuted everyone. Nah, not a big deal, kind of like trying to find a way to repel it. Like, come on, Baker, stop. Just, grow into the role. Don't make me, because I like you. Don't make me have to change my tune. But I'm really beginning to think that this is just another foreshadow of rockier days. This will blend into the woodwork eventually because right now Daniel Jones is immaterial in the NFL. He's not going to play. I mean, Eli's going to play until he doesn't. And then Daniel Jones takes over. We'll see what Daniel Jones is. And Daniel's looked pretty good so far when he's had a chance to play. We've met him, and Tiki and I had him in studio, and he's an incredibly, well-educated, went to Duke. I mean, what else do you have to say? He's just a terrific young man. And, I was in the crop, along with a lot of people who really outwardly question the Giants picking him at number 6, but that's our job. There's two things you don't do in the NFL, especially if you're a quarterback. Now, don't hit me with the Jalen Ramsey tweets. Well, Jalen did this last summer. It's different rules, and it's different standards for the, chirping, if you're a cornerback, is good for business. Chirping and, talking smack has no real adverse effect. You either cover your guy or you don't. There's no long-lasting repercussions. You show up, you take your 50 snaps, you blanket the top receiver, or you get roasted, and you go home. That's it. You don't have to be the first one at the facility. You don't have to be the first one leading sprints, because everybody knows you're one of the fastest guys on the team anyway. And it doesn't matter what you drive or how you come into camp or really how you comport yourself on social media, but it does matter if you're an NFL quarterback. And I'll peel you behind my curtain a little bit. Now, when we had them all on the show. We had Baker on twice. We had Rosen on. We had Sam Darnold on. We had Lamar Jackson on. I also had Baker and Lamar on Tops in person. So I met him through the TV outlet and through the radio show with Tiki at the Super Bowl. We had them all on. Mike got him on. Tops got him on. It was great. Got a chance to know them all pretty well. And I really like Baker. And if you go back and you look at my timeline, there's pictures that I purposely posted because the big knock on Baker was his height. And, I'm just about 6'2". I've probably lost about a quarter of an inch based on the degeneration of my discs in my back. So I'm not quite 6'2", but I was at one point. So I know what 6'2" is. And there's a picture of me in our top studio during a break. I've got my arm around Baker. He brought the Heisman in. And, I'm certainly taller than him, but I'm not, looking down at him like Andre the Giant and Spud Webb. I mean, the physical disparity was not really that great. He's a thick kid, too. So that was my first defense of Baker. I thought he was big enough. His hands were big, thick body, thick trunk, just looked thick enough, didn't look brittle. So I defended him from a football point of view. And the other stuff, I kind of liked his energy. I liked his moxie. I liked his arrogance. I liked his fuel. Because I could respect that. Because here's a guy who was overlooked, multiple schools, was a walk-on, had to earn everything he's gotten. And how do you not respect that? He's not from the conveyor belt of quarterbacks. He's not 6'6" and, these long limbs and this perfect release. He's a grinder, man. This guy made himself into the first overall pick in the NFL. But now it's getting a little old, and now it's getting a little dangerous here. And now I'll tell you this definitively. There was a point, as I made those defenses with Tiki and on my own, social media timeline, as I said, where I really, truly was not sure who I wanted my Jets to draft. It was either Darnold or it was Baker. I liked Rosen, didn't want him at 3, didn't know if he'd be ready for New York, maybe a little bit too smart for the room. Didn't want Josh Allen, even though he has a rocket, and I think he's a little bit better than maybe we all thought, a little more polished. And he could be really good for the Bills, but I thought he was too much of a project for a team that desperately needed to hit a home run at the quarterback spot for once. And I knew Lamar Jackson simply wasn't going to be a top 10 pick. And, as much as I like Lamar, all the platitudes he's getting this offseason, I'd have to kind of tap the brakes. I don't think he throws the football very well on Sunday. We'll see. Maybe he takes a big step forward. I'm not saying he's not salvageable because I saw him throw downfield at Louisville, but he was a distant fifth for everybody, for me. To the point where I'm watching that Jets-Browns game on Thursday night, early in the season. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Baker comes off the bench. Thwack, 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 thwack. Ropes. Frozen ropes. And in one swooping motion, lifted an entirely lifeless and despondent fan base like that. That's something special. That you're not going to quantify at the combine. You can't put a number on that. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. And he's got it. And there was a point last September, October, I'm sitting there saying, jeez, I honestly think my guys drafted the wrong guy again. Here we go. I mean, Sam's going to be a pro, and Sam's going to be diligent, and Sam's going to get incrementally better. And he's all ball. And if they ever get him an offensive coach, he's good. But I'm watching Baker and I'm watching Sam, and I'm saying to myself, we took the wrong quarterback. And then Sam got hurt. And a funny thing happened when Sam Darnold got hurt. He came back, and he was 5 times as good as he was the first part of the season, which showed me this young man compartmentalizes things fast. He sees something, he fixes it, and he does well. And, of course, there's no nonsense. And now every day, just about, there's a little something nonsensical with the Browns, whether it's Beckham, who for some reason, Odell Beckham, Judy, shut up. Stop. He sounds like a jilted lover who can't get over getting thrown out of the house or, getting dumped. Dude, the Giants got rid of you. Get over it. I'll get to him more later because he said something stupid today. The root of what Baker said that really bothers me. It's one thing that it's not the proper decorum for a quarterback to do what he did. You don't comment on somebody's money, stupid. And you don't sabotage and diss other quarterbacks when you know how hard a job it is. I mean, everything you need to do, everything being a quarterback in the NFL, that entails. I mean, it's pretty brazen to go out there and say, this guy doesn't win. What the hell are you going to draft him for? I got news for you, all right? First of all, John Elway at Stanford was 6-5, 5-7, and 4-8, all right? Tom Brady couldn't hold down his job at Michigan, and Peyton Manning couldn't beat the Florida Gators 0-4. Couldn't beat them, right? Patrick Mahomes, 7-6, 6-7, and 6-7 at Texas Tech. Jared Goff, 1 year at Cal, went 1-8. 1-8. And his whole premise was, well, if you don't win in college, I mean, how are you going to win in the NFL? Oh, I don't know. Whatever happened to Eric Crouch? Whatever happened to Ken Dorsey from Miami? Kellen Moore, by the way, now the coordinator, has the most wins in the history of the NCAA. He's got 50 wins. Stunk as a pro quarterback. Matt Leinart, he was a great pro, wasn't he? How about Manziel? How about A.J. McCarron? All he did was win, except on Sundays. Tebow. I mean, we could do a whole segment on that. Tebow stands alone. Danny Werfel, any Florida quarterback, any Florida State quarterback just about, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. Andre Ware from Houston, Achilles Smith won at Oregon. So did Joey Harrington. They sucked in the pros. Terrible. I mean, Jason White, all he did was win in college. Terrible. Vince Young, one of the best Rose Bowl performances ever. Fizzled out. Not a pro. Not diligent. Baker Mayfield's got to relax. Baker Mayfield's got to chill. And I got to tell you, everything that I thought would propel him to great heights, that edge, that chip, that unwillingness to conform, I'm now beginning to think could cause him to unravel because he's not learning. It's getting a little worse. It's getting a little louder. It's getting a little more constant. How is that good for the Browns? Tell me. You can tell me all you want about the hype and there are different kind of sports fans. I get it. There's nuts and bolts sports fan. There's fans who just love fantasy. There's fans who just love to gamble. But I mean, that's your core premise. Don't you have I think, and that's really code for I know. I think you have to have a few non-negotiable criteria as a quarterback. I just think you have to. You've got to be accountable. You've got to be durable. You've got to be a leader, okay? You've got to project positivity. These are little things you have to do. You don't have to lambaste your peers. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know why he's doing this. But I'll say it now, and I wasn't sure that I would ever say this. I'm happy who my team drafted, and I'm happy we weren't faced with that choice. Because right now, Sam Darnold or Baker, who you betting on for 5 years? Who you betting on? I mean, nobody can read injury. Nobody. But who do you trust? That's an easy one. I don't even have to answer it.